Hi, I'm Reid with Sports.com, and today in the studio we have guest Barrett Green, former NFL linebacker. Barrett, thanks for coming out.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
First of all, I wanted to ask you about the NFL lockout and what you knew about it and how you felt about it, and how it is as a former player. How do you look at that?
I think it's a very interesting time in the NFL. I think it's a very opportunistic time for NFL players for us to get some of the things that we should have been fighting for a long time ago. I think this is a very key moment in our history, and I think we need to take full advantage of it.
Definitely, definitely. The NFL lockout is definitely affecting a lot of people throughout the NFL, a lot of players, a lot of people throughout the country, and obviously it's probably not going to affect you at this point,
but actually it will. It's going to affect all veterans, especially when it comes to medical benefits. A lot of guys have suffered injuries as a result of playing football, and I think it's very important for guys to have their medical benefits covered after they get done playing. All of the physical ailments that they have are 9 times out of 10 related to football-related injuries. So I think the NFL should be responsible for covering those costs, covering those expenses. That's one of the things that I think that we need to be fighting for through this collective bargaining agreement. One of the other things is anytime you have a professional sport and you have a top 5 pick and you can't trade out of the top 5, I think that's a very clear sign that something is wrong. In no other professional sport does that exist, whether it be basketball, baseball,
exactly.
Where guys or teams, organizations can't trade out of the top 5 in exchange for 2 latter-round picks. No team in the NFL wants to make that type of commitment to an unproven player. So
Exactly.
those are 2 of the many lingering issues that we have to bridge the gap on.
I believe he's talking about rookie salaries and how that number is probably going to come down with the new collective bargaining agreement.
Well, hopefully they'll cap it, and rookies. I mean, hopefully they'll get shorter deals, which will allow them to make up for that money. After they have proven themselves in any other professional sport that exists. As you can see, basketball did it a few years ago, and it's been quite advantageous for them.
Well, that leads transitions right into our next question. Life after football, and what after you get done playing, I think it's a tough transition for athletes to further their career in different aspects or go a different direction in their life. So I was wondering how that transition was for you.
It was a challenging one, and for most NFL athletes it is because as an NFL athlete we invest our entire lives into the game of football. So when you don't have guaranteed contracts and your career can end abruptly, as it does in many instances in the NFL, guys are forced to transition immediately. So I have been able to do it, and I think it's very important for NFL players to start looking at different career objectives while they're playing, especially when contracts are not guaranteed. You have to start planning your second career while you play, while you're making that kind of money. Football is a great head start. It's not a lifetime career, and you have to look at it as such.
Definitely. Recently, you've been traveling and seeing the world, and I just wanted to ask you about that and maybe some other hobbies that you have.
Recently, I went to China. China's been a very interesting experience, and got a chance to, embrace a culture on another side of the world, on another side of the planet. And obviously that was very interesting, whether it be the food, the warmth of the people, or just the culture in general. I mean, we had a chance to go visit a few art galleries, and they do it a little bit differently over there. And it's always a pleasure and a joy to go and experience new things.
Definitely, definitely. Is there any advice that you'd like to give to current players that are going to need to make that transition, or any advice that you'd like to give them in maybe looking at different career outlooks while they're playing football?
Yeah, definitely start looking at your second career while you're playing. That's the biggest advice I can give to a current player is don't be dependent upon the game of football. I highly advise guys to get involved into some type of income-producing property. Good thing about income-producing property is it gives you a residual income but an appreciating asset as well. Guys need to find a way to replace the income that they currently make in the NFL, and while they have that sum of money, I think it's very smart for them to put it into real estate investments that give you a residual income, such as apartment complexes, things of that sort.
Well, I appreciate you, Barrett, for coming in, taking some time out of your day,
Yeah, man.
coming down to see us at sports.com, and we'll see you guys later.